What's giving me joy in March? Buying shoes that finally fit. Getting my first books actually, by a publisher without asking. And they send chocolate. Hi Booktube, it's Marilyn MM, the baby boomer booktuber. And I'm here today with things that are giving me joy right now. And some of you know that last month wasn't exactly a great month for me for many reasons. But March is starting out with a bang, and I'm really happy. So many good things have happened in these last few days that I wanted to share it with my friends here. First of all, what happened was I was offered a book by a publisher, Jericho Publishing, in Oregon. And they asked me which book I wanted. And I picked Cross Country ABC 1957. And it's by the Scott sisters. And it's a very short book. And I'm looking forward to reading it. And it has colorful pictures. So what is it about? In the summer of 1957, 3 teenage girls set out on an unchaperoned cross-country road trip. They headed west from New York in a 1956 Chevy station wagon they named Alfred McNamara. It was an adventure of a lifetime. This is the diary they kept of that trip and includes some of the photographs they took during that adventure. And I asked for that one because I knew that I would be really interested in reading about my time of life. I was very small then, but you know, the thought of taking a ride across country was something that I dreamed about. And also just the fact that it has all these photographs. And I want to show you one. One is a map. I love maps so much. So I'm going to review this and let you know if I like it. But what was even better is they sent me another book and they asked me if I didn't want to read it, that I could give it away. So this is called A Bitter Fog. It's not as happy a book. It's Herbicides and Human Rights by Carol Van Strum. So it says, in The People versus Agent Orange, PBS tells the story of two women's quest for justice. This book gives the inside story of how that quest began for one of them. And so it says, A Little Fog is the true story of people fighting to protect their families and homes from Agent Orange and other poisons sprayed on them from the air. So I'm going to do a giveaway on this one. It's not that I don't want to read it. It's just that I have to pick and choose what to read. And I know a lot of my friends on Booktube or anybody else who's watching who's very interested in this subject. Please let me know in the comments, and if there's more than one person, I'll put it in a hat or something and pick it out. I don't think I can send it to outside of the United States, money reasons, but anyway, let me know if you want A Bitter Fog. And they sent me chocolate. Not only chocolate, but Beyond Good, Madagascar, Pure Dark 70% cocoa. And, well, my partner, he likes this kind of chocolate. I like a little bit less bitter chocolate, but I'm very grateful to them. They're very wonderful. It sounds like a wonderful publishing company. And the woman who wrote to me, her name was Precious. And, yeah, I think we should support all small publishers. So definitely that was a good thing. So what else? Well, I'm starting to declutter, and that had some good consequences. Some of them were funny. I found some dresses that, well, I don't think I can wear them anymore. I tried it on and I can fit into it, and it's I was really into leopard at one time. And even the dress I'm wearing now, I was thinking of giving it away. So we've been giving away clothes to the cerebral palsy, and they sell it in a local thrift store. And it was a wonderful thing because while I was opening up a suitcase, I found, what do you think I found? Books, of course. So that was a wonderful surprise as well. Okay, so what else am I doing besides decluttering, getting presents in the mail? Of course, the publishing company, they asked if I wanted the book before they sent it. But yeah, that was great. That was a great surprise. Another good thing that happened to me is that I've been shouted out by other channels. And I'm so grateful to my friends who thought enough about my channel to shout it out. So I want to give a special thank you to Kelly from Books I'm Not Reading, because she made a funny comment about how I go on and on and on with my comments on other people's channels. I really try to watch as much Booktube as I can and get involved with the community as much as I can. I don't really watch movies anymore. And you know, the other thing I do is reading, and of course I'm editing my memoir, so I have enough on my plate, believe me. But the fact that Kelly noticed, that was really great. And yeah, and Nikki from Red Dot Reads, I don't get tagged very much, and she tagged me in a video that I hope I can get to this month. And also Janelle liked a book that I recommended. So thank you to my good friends here on Booktube. Speaking of good friends on Booktube, I have two wonderful buddy reads coming up that I talked about, but I have to talk about them more because I'm reading with Kevy from Say Kevy, The Wall by Mary Roberts Rinehart, and I can't tell you how much I love this book. I love this book. It's not, as Kevy said in one of our Voxer talks, it's not like an Agatha Christie, which I love, by the way, but where, you know, you meet the murderers or you meet people in the book, you're introduced to the characters, is what I want to say, and then the murder happens, and then the rest of the book is, you know, who did it. This book is like, it builds and builds. I mean, every chapter there's something happening. The pacing is so incredibly fast, and we're reading it pretty fast. So, and Kevy is a wonderful buddy reader. So I'm enjoying that, and I'm enjoying getting to know Kevy even better. She's funny, you know, just her laugh alone, you know. And I just got in touch with my good buddy and fellow Boricua, Alba, and we're going to finish The Country Girls with the last of the trilogy, which is Girls in Their Married Bliss. So I'm really looking forward to that, and that's one of the things I'm doing for the Irish Readathon, along with a CD of Frank McCourt's, I don't know if it's a DVD or a CD. I hope it's a DVD. I don't even know if I have a CD player, but I think it is a DVD of Angela's Ashes, where he's narrating. So that's good. Okay, so what else is happening beside that? Well, I did want to mention March Mystery Madness, because Janelle of Too Fond of Books, along with all the other hosts, are doing a wonderful job. And Janelle is a special friend of mine. She is such a wonderful person, and not only that, but she's having a lot of activities for March Mystery Madness, as all the others are, but she really gets into it with her M&Ms, and she has a new game now. So check her out at Too Fond of Books. Okay, so I should mention that I'm also going to France in May, and that brought me to books, of course. What else? So I have a lot of books from France that are, you know, travel books, but I didn't want to talk about that now, and I didn't want to talk about the books that I have that are not happy books. I wanted to talk about some books that I haven't read, or ones that I think that you might enjoy. So this one is called Paris Stories by Mavis Gallant, and selected with an introduction by Michael Ondaatje. And I'm pretty sure he's a well-known African writer. So tomorrow I'm going to get new glasses, so bear with me. Anything written in red and yellow is hard for my eyes. But basically, these are short stories by Mavis Gallant, who wrote, I think, for the New Yorker magazine. And they're all delightful, captivating, and she's a contemporary legend, a frequent contributor to the New Yorker for close to 50 years, who has, in the words of the New York Times, radically reshaped the short story for decade after decade. And Michael Ondaatje's new selection of Gallant's work gathers some of the most memorable of her stories set in Europe and Paris. So, of course, I have to read a few of these stories. The other book is probably not relevant right now, but I still want to read it again. It's Hungry for Paris, The Ultimate Guide to the City's 102 Best Restaurants by Alexander Lobrano. And why I say it's may not be relevant is because I heard a lot of restaurants in Paris have closed because of COVID, but then a lot of new restaurants have opened. But, you know, one of the pleasures of visiting any new city is trying out the food. And my daughter and I, this is my daughter's first trip to Paris, so I'm excited to share one of my favorite cities with her. And luckily, as I mentioned many times, my son works for an airline, so at least I get to travel for free. She doesn't, but you know, we're going to enjoy. We're staying right in the middle, in the first arrondissement. If I'm saying it wrong, please. I'm studying French, beginner French, so arrondissement. No, I know there's a lot of French speakers out there, so I'm sorry if I'm murdering your language. I'm thinking of Boquin's, Elizabeth from Boquin's and Books. Sorry, Elizabeth. Okay, the next book, I don't know how, if I should even say this or where I got it from. It says Sensual Paris, Seductive Hotels, Sensual Restaurants, Uber chic bars and dance clubs, shopping, private clubs. I don't know who got this from me, but it sounds like it's nothing that I'm going to, but something I'd like to read about. All right, so what else is making me happy in March? As if that wasn't enough. Well, the decluttering got me to thinking of other ways that we can make our lives smaller instead of bigger. And, you know, decluttering is such a healthful, stress-relieving thing that I wanted to share with you the new American dream, living well in small homes. Now, in Hawaii, most of the homes are smaller than homes on the mainland, and my house is less than 1,200 square feet, which in the mainland, that's considered a small home. Here it's not. It's not considered a small home. But there's a lot of beautiful photos in here that give me ideas of how I want to, what I want to get rid of, how I can make my house more cozy, and I shouldn't say more cozy, but more spacious, actually, with the little space I do have. And then I have another book called Boudoir, and which is a French word. So I guess it goes into my France trip. And it's just beautiful. It just has ways of making your bedroom a place of relaxation, peace, and tranquility. So, and this book, I should mention who wrote these books. So Hillary Robinson wrote Boudoir, and James Gauer, photographed by Catherine Tighe, wrote The New American Dream, Living Well in Small Homes. So I'm almost finished talking about what I wanted to talk about. I'm going to be back, of course, with more March Mystery Madness, but I wanted to mention a few books that I'm reading for middle grade March. Now, I don't really read much middle grade, but in this case, I should say in this genre, this is a scholastic book by Elly Berkovits Gros. It's Elly, the true story of the Holocaust. And there's a beautiful picture of her as a child here. And I read this already, but I want to do a reread for middle grade March because I found it very touching. And another Holocaust book is the story of Blima, a Holocaust survivor, by the Townsend Library. And I think this is middle grade too. It feels like maybe later middle grade. And it's by Shirley, Russak, Wachtel. And yeah, you know, we hear stories of, you know, Holocaust survivors, and even like the Diary of Anne Frank was written by somebody 13. But these are even younger children. And we have to remember that children, you know, many children were murdered in the Holocaust. And when we find two here that survived, I think that they should be remembered. And I think children and adults should read them. So that's my little addition for middle grade March this year. Okay, and last but not least, Karl Anderson, and I know he has a middle name, who's a big booktuber. I read his review of Dear Reader. Carl Michael Anderson? You'll let me know in the comments. Anyway, Dear Reader, The Comfort and Joy of Books. I bought this a few months ago, and he loved it. And I'm really looking forward to reading it this month, because if there's anything that gives me joy in my life, it's reading. And he said in his review of this book that we're a different kind of people, readers. We look at life differently. We have choices to make in our life about what to do. So many things that we can do, but we choose to sit down with a book or an audio or whatever, however we read, and we spend hours and hours because it makes us feel good. We're brought to different lands. And I want to read what CathyRentzenbrink has to say about this. And I didn't really listen to all of his video because I didn't want to find out too much about, but he was reading all the books that some of the books that you recommended. So this is definitely on my TBR this March. I didn't do a February wrap-up because I didn't really read that many books in February, and the books that I read, I talked about during my TBR in March Mystery Madness. But I'm going to be back with more mysteries, more Irish books, hopefully, and I can't say I'm going to get to all of them, but I hope you have a joyful March or a marvelous March as well. And I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel, and please click the notification bell and comment, like, and I'll be back more often this month, I'm hoping. So until we meet again, my friends, take care and aloha.